Good morning, St. Francis, and good morning, people of God. It is Wednesday, the 30th day of March, 2022, Wednesday of the fourth week of Lent. It is the 25th day of Lent today, coming ever closer and closer to the conclusion of the Lenten season and the approach of the Sacred Triduum. Coming to you this morning from the front of the residence, the Friary, Rectory Friary, where our Japanese maples are in glorious bloom, as well as this wonderful dogwood that is against the house. You know, the dogwood is over here, just beginning to come into bloom, but spring is manifesting itself all over the place here on this campus. Our readings for today, again, primarily the Gospel from John, continues with the building confrontation between Jesus and Jewish authorities. But the first reading from Isaiah is one that is, again, another glorious reading about God who offers comfort and healing, a God who fixes what has fallen apart, who brings back together what has become separated. And basically, Israel has got to stop navel-gazing and complaining that God doesn't do anything because they are not witnessing the wonders that God does. And so through Isaiah, God basically says, tell those in darkness to come out into the light, tell prisoners to be released from their captivity, tell those who are in sorrow to find joy, tell those who feel as though they do not amount to anything or are not cared for, the truth that they are cared for and they have dignity and value beyond worth. For Israel to say that God has abandoned us, is ridiculous, because as God says through Isaiah, can a mother forget her child? Again, this is how Israel is to God. Again, this passage of healing, this passage of not having to do contrition or having to seek penance or do anything, all those other kinds of things that are associated with Lent, our readings do not echo those things. It is about recognizing who and what God is and embracing that recognition. That becomes, again, a part of the gospel reading, again, which Jesus is saying, again, that you are accusing me of all these kinds of things, but again, the judgment that I have is not a judgment that is my own. It is given to me by God, Jesus says. And again, Jesus sees what is wrong, and Jesus sees what needs to be corrected, and Jesus offers correction. Jesus doesn't basically judge. Jesus offers some solution and resolution, to the world's evils, its problems, its anxieties, its pains, its difficulties. And yet, the Jewish authorities do not want to accept that, because to correct that would mean to take them out of power, to curb their authority, to give them less of a dignity or a value that they think they have in society, that they think they should have. Again, Jesus is there to say, this is not right. This is not what God wants. And so basically, I am offering you another way, that one that gives life, one that does not give punishment or terror or sadness or woe. And yet, the Jewish authorities, again, do not want to sacrifice their power and their authority. And again, this tension begins to build. This aggravation begins to build. This antagonism begins to build. Again, recognizing what it is that God brings to us through Jesus, what it is that God brings us as God, is again what Lent is all about. Not about punishment and pains and sorrows, but a God who basically says, here is the way through all of that. Just come and follow me and find your way through it, and life will be filled with more than you can imagine. For us to take that risk and to take that dare is always the challenge of Lent. As we move towards the conclusion of this Lenten season, may we ever more readily take up that challenge and dare to follow God into new life and new hope. And may the Lord give you his peace.